Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Beard from lastcar.info, and welcome to Behind the Wall, the post-race show that comes on after the race, where unofficially, pending the results of post-race inspection for today's O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, William Sawalich has scored his first career victory, and I'm seeing from many reports here indicating the first driver from Minnesota to win a NASCAR National Series race, so tremendous accomplishment for him. Congratulations to him again, pending the results of post-race inspection. A little bit of a different show here for today, jumping into the action from this weekend, both from the O'Reilly and Truck Series action, since there's no race tomorrow, and certainly want to make sure everybody can enjoy the Easter weekend here as well. We'll just do a little bit of a shorter show here today, talking about the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series races. We'll do a little trivia. We'll bring the game back up from last week. That seemed to work pretty well. Found a way to not have a timer on it, so I think it'll be much better for interactivity's sake. So we'll do that a little bit later in the show here. But again, first we'll talk about the race today. First and foremost, again, definitely getting some fear of missing out here from working the racetrack last year at Rockingham. We covered the 2025 weekend for the reopening of this venue here during the action last year and had a great time out there. Looked like they had another great crowd out, and got to say that, again, the level of racing out there is just exhilarating. You only get a glimpse of it on TV. In person, it is probably one of the most competitive tracks that we have out there these days. I don't know how well that would transfer over to the Cup Series with the cars being just such an entirely different creature out there. But again, with more horsepower, maybe that would work out. I'm not as, firm at the moment here in terms of saying that the Cup Series should be, out there and having this venue in the near future. I think they have a really neat thing going here with the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series, and then also getting ARCA East on top of it too. Certainly the community around there rallies around this event. They get a great turnout there. It looked like it was pretty good this time around. And it's just fun seeing these guys just slide around out there. I mean, it seems like even if you have a mistake, suddenly other cars are catching up to you, and then you're right back in the middle of racing again, wherever you are through the field. And we saw definitely examples of that both yesterday and today. So unofficially in the results here, William Sawalich, your race winner over Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Raja Caruth, and Carson Kvapil, your top five. Rounding out the top 10, Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray, Parker Retzlaff coming back from getting routed out of the groove there at the end with another strong run for the Viking Motorsports effort. Ryan Sieg, not really a factor for the win here like he was last year when he led 77 laps, but this time around able to work some tire strategy and get up towards the front and finish in the 9th spot. And Corey Day, who led 118 laps, easily the best run of what has already been an impressive turnaround for him this year, from all the issues he had at the beginning of the season and still getting those top 10 runs, and now kind of working that out these last couple of races. And then in this one here, looked like maybe we were going to be talking about him getting his first win today. Unfortunately, not in the cards for him this time around. Has to settle for a 10th place finish. But again, congratulations to William Sawalich. That's a story that I had been following very much in earnest last year. Just posted a tweet about it that I'll summarize here as well. When we went out there and covered the race last year at Rockingham, Sawalich was very much struggling at the beginning of his rookie season. He was very far down in the point standings, just not able to really have some good runs out there. Perhaps some questions about how well he'd been making the transition from ARCA into the O'Reilly Series. But really at Sears Point, and saw this again firsthand in our next race that we covered in July. He was a third-place finisher in that race, had won the ARCA West race earlier that weekend in a dramatic finish there, and really just seemed rejuvenated. He had obviously he didn't have anything for Zilich and Van Gisbergen. They were pretty much just in a race for themselves, but he beat everybody else to the finish and was able to really turn things around at that point. And we saw him get top 5s and top 10s, contending for wins the rest of the year. And unfortunately got hurt in another accident at Talladega, where we had Zilich injured in the spring Talladega. Sawalich ended up missing the last 2 races of the year. Kind of easy to forget. Didn't get talked about that much compared to the Zilich deal. But had to miss the last couple of races of the year. Justin Bonsignor coming in to help him out there. And still is a driver that was in contention for the LASCAR championship for how much he struggled at the first part of the year. But he comes back this season, visited the Pope over the offseason. We saw some pictures about that. I mean, how extraordinary. You had that, and then he wins on Easter weekend. Truly, Lord moves in mysterious ways for sure. And there it is. William Sawalich pulls off his first win, leading 80 laps in this race here, and pulls it off here at the same track. So again, it's a lot to say because you're not really going to hear it from William himself. He's very low key. When he came into the media center at Sears Point last year after the ARCA West win, I think he maybe only spoke like maybe 5 or 6 words in there. He keeps very much to himself. But he definitely shows it with his deeds on the track there at the same time. So again, I think it's a great victory. Hopefully, much like we saw with Sheldon Creed earlier this year, maybe this is going to be something that we're going to see him contend for even more wins down the line. And again, as they mentioned, I think Parker Kligerman mentioned on the broadcast, yeah, if you can win at Rockingham, you can win just about anywhere. The place like this or Darlington are very demanding tracks, very challenging tracks. And again, Sawalich himself has seen both extremes of that in this very early phase of his career here too. So I'm very excited for him. He's actually, I believe, has just been, very impressive this first time out. And these are the stories I like following here at the same time. Again, I know we follow the last place finishers and talk about the struggles at the back of the field, and we will talk about that today. With the storylines from both these races here as well. But it's also enjoyable to see somebody really climb back into contention and have a good run. Again, very much enjoyed seeing that out there today. Looked like, again, beautiful venue and a good effort there for him pulling off the win there as well. Looking through the rest of the field, of course, the other big storyline coming into this race was that of Cletus McFarland and what was going to happen with his O'Reilly Series debut. Now, of course, speaking of drivers that had been featured on NASCAR, of course, we all remember back the Truck Series race in the opening laps, had a wreck coming off of turn 4 and bounced off the inside wall. Didn't involve any other drivers, thankfully, but it was a short afternoon for him. Now, again, a driver that's still working his way up from ARCA, much like William Sawalich in that respect, but quite definitely the opposite in terms of how outspoken he is with his YouTube personality, the Freedom Factory, and everything else that's been going on with his brand and his program and so forth working through here. Talking about this a while back here, I think that we discussed what was going to be a good day for Cletus McFarland in this race. What was the thing that he needed to do that would basically just, get a rubber stamp from NASCAR and move him on to the next line, whatever the next start is in the O'Reilly Series, or if he gets cleared for the super speedways or whatever it is down the line. And I think the consensus seemed to be if he didn't mess up anybody else's race, if he didn't, wreck the car, if he didn't, drop out in the opening laps, things like that, I think were big tick marks here. And this is where it gets tricky with what happened here, because undoubtedly he did struggle tremendously. He spun out 4 times in this race. I think we only saw 2 of them on camera. Of course, he had his onboard camera that caught all of them there, but in terms of the broadcast showing that much. So clearly he was struggling out there. Each of the incidents, I don't think any of them brought out the caution, did they? It seemed like, most times he was able to kind of get down to the apron, get the car pointed and keep going. Clearly there were some issues there that he was working with, and it is a challenging track. And I'm sure this is why that they were putting him on this speedway to show, okay, here's one of the places where if you can really kind of figure this out and not really have a big issues out there, that would be something helpful. Now, again, each of these incidents, single car incidents there, didn't involve any other drivers, didn't wreck anybody else, didn't wreck his car. Those are positives. But again, spinning out that many times, they talk about the 3 strikes and you're out rule in some short track races. You got people that have multiple incidents in the opening laps. Sometimes drivers have been parked for such things. But at least in this case, again, I'm hedging my bets on this because, again, he didn't involve any other drivers, didn't take anybody out. It was actually a pretty clean race. And, he kind of stayed out of the way once he was really kind of struggling in the second half of the race and kind of was just luckily not running so slow that he was getting run over. You got to go back to guys like Mike Seneca and others that have struggled with that in their earlier parts of their career. Um, you know, I it's unfortunately it's kind of just right on the middle here. I don't think this was anything that moved the needle closer to him getting, approved for super speedways, but I also don't think this was something that really kind of took him out of it and said, "Oh, well, he's not ready." Some could just point at the spins, others can point at the fact that he didn't wreck the car, or wreck anybody else. It basically comes out as a wash to me. I think that this just kicks it down the road that clearly he does need more experience. Clearly, he needs to run some more ARCA races, and honestly, running some more O'Reilly Series races. Now, would I immediately put him into Talladega in a couple weeks? No. I don't think this was enough evidence to show of that. But I do think that this shows that, again, getting used to larger tracks, mile and a half tracks, especially the bread and butter of the series there. Apparently, he's running Kansas here in a couple weeks. I think that's good. I think if he shows some improvement there, maybe he doesn't spin out in that race, and also doesn't involve anybody in any wrecks or anything like that, I think that would be something that would move the needle. So again, I don't think it was bad, that I don't think this was something that cost him today. I really don't. I don't think that this was something that was going to be something where everybody's like, "Oh, there it is." That's terrible. At least he was out there for the full distance, get used to the race length of the event. Finish the race under power. Would have been great to finish on the lead lap. Of course, he lost laps early in the race, as did a lot of people. I mean, gosh, how many people were on the lead lap at the finish of this? Looks like 23 by my count here. So again, not the easiest venue out there, but again, not the worst possible outcome at the same time. So, and also didn't tear up the car mechanically either. I mean, we saw Sam Mayer end up being your last place finisher, had some kind of issue in the drivetrain, tried switching out ignition boxes or something, and the things just didn't quite work out for him. I think that was really something that worked out there at the same time. So again, 32nd place finish for Cletus McFarland, 6 laps down. I was wondering if it was going to be somebody I was going to have to write an article about this week after what we had in the Truck Series race, but that is not the case, pending, of course, the results post-race inspection. I think it does, it moves things on to the next round, and it doesn't have to be all done in one day. But I wouldn't characterize this as a small victory or anything like that. I think this is just like showing, okay, we didn't take a step back, and that's good, and that's better than what we had in the Truck Series race there. And I know his fans are very supportive of him too, and they should continue to be. I think that there's always a potential to, find your way into the sport. And as I said on a show here the last couple of weeks, NASCAR is a way. If you don't belong, if you're not good enough to be in there, there's only so many spots out there, and there are so many people working to just get an opportunity to just make a few starts out there. And that will happen on its own. It doesn't need anybody else to step in at that point there. So, again, as I said before, I wish him the best of luck and continued improvement, and that'll be something that we'll also be tracking on this show here in the coming days as well. To transition into the last place battle here, a little tricky this weekend. One thing I'm not very happy about with this Rockingham race here is the fact that NASCAR.com does not have driver audio available for these races. Usually we've seen this with just standalone events, like when we had the races at Mid-Ohio or last year at Lime Rock, where they just have one series out there. That, I guess that's to be expected to an extent, because there's certain infrastructure they have to put in place. But in this one here, where it's near the Charlotte area, and you have 2 different divisions out there, 3 really, with the ARCA East series, I was disappointed that we didn't have that audio, and I think it would have been very helpful to pick apart both of these. In the Friday race in the Truck Series, it was a bit more open and shut with the accident that happened with Adam Andretti. We'll talk about that more shortly. But in this one here, it was much more mechanical issues. And thanks to Matt Weaver and others out there that were tracking what was happening at the track there as well, to see what was happening there too. But that made it a little bit difficult to follow. So the articles are going to be a little bit different this week. The Truck Series one already posted here yesterday. We'll get the O'Reilly one up after today here as well. But Sam Mayer ends up with the first last place run for the number 41 at Rockingham in an O'Reilly Series race since 1997 with Joey McCarty. So it's been quite a while. Actually, that was a race that was won by Mark Martin back in the old Winn-Dixie number 60 car, to put that in perspective for how long that has happened there at the same time. But Sam Mayer with his first last place run of the year, the first since Talladega last year, in the wreck that pretty much eliminated him from the playoffs before his issues at Martinsville. Ends up in your last place spot. Kyle Sieg looked to have a mechanical issue, which was disappointing after he was fastest in Friday practice. Looked like the RSS team were going to be able to pick up where they left off last year. Unfortunately, neither in victory lane here this week. Kyle ends up back in the 37th spot. Josh Bilicki had a long pit stop that dropped him several laps down. He ends up 9 laps down at the finish, 1 lap behind Dawson Cram for the Mike Harmon team. Good to see Harmon's car in the show. Of course, we had some fluctuations with the entry list, with the Nick Sanchez entry withdrawn from the weekend, and also the Barrett Cope effort that was not even on the preliminary entry list. I did reach out to the team for comment. Things are still up in the air as to what's happening at Bristol, so we'll have some more information on that once it's available there as well. But as we saw, they were indeed not a late entry into this race after Myatt Snyder had a top 20 run for them at Martinsville last week, so hopefully we'll see them at the track again very soon as well. Rounding out your bottom 5 here was Dr. Patrick Staropoli, back in the 34th spot, ended up 8 laps down as well, on the same lap as Dawson Cram, just behind Austin Green after he clobbered the wall off turn 2 and dropped back in the order there as well. Opening laps of this race had a lot of the Joey Gase effort back there. Joey Gase took the last spot there in the opening laps. Blake Lothian ended up taking the spot as teammate in the 55 after spinning out in turn 2 and losing a couple laps. And then once Mayer's issues kind of started sprouting up, things shuffled from there. We'll have the full breakdown of that in the article later on here as well. Looking at other drivers through the field, Jesse Love ended up having some contact from Raja Caruth there on the backstretch, kind of continuing what seemed to be some frustrations between these two drivers that we saw at Martinsville last week. Love ends up back in the 27th spot, 2 laps down after an extended stop for some repairs behind the right rear wheel that ended up taking him out of contention. But Raja, and I've seen comments about it here in the chat as well, I definitely agree, very impressive out here. How many times this season have we seen Raja just make some just impressive moves to get his way through traffic? We saw it back at Daytona. I believe we saw it at Las Vegas as well. And then this time around here, where you have a track with multiple different grooves and drivers working their way through traffic, he made a huge move on the inside to get past a couple of drivers, and they're held up behind, I believe it was Alex Labbe at the time, to get a couple of spots there, and ends up finishing back in, where was it again? The 4th place finish. I mean, just tremendous. I mean, he was battling for 10th. It seemed very close to the finish and was able to pick up those spots there towards the end. Another fantastic run out there. So again, unfortunate the deal there for him and Jesse Love. We'll see if anything else comes of it at Bristol or other tracks here coming up there. It does seem like those two just seem to find each other at just unfortunate spots here. And unfortunately, this time around, Jesse ends up on the short end of it. But Raja is very much a competitor, and he is not afraid to throw it in there, and but not recklessly so. When it seems like it works, he calculates very well, and usually it works out there for him, and that was definitely the case this time around. So a fantastic run for him there as well. Looking further back in the lineup there, Nathan Bird in the top 20 for the Randy Young effort. He was very close to a couple of those Cletus McFarland incidents, so it was good to see him still escape the race unscathed on the lead lap. Alex Labbe, touching on him earlier, finished on the lead lap after his last place run at Darlington a couple of weeks ago. So a good turnaround for him. Josh Williams, his teammate, right behind him in the 19th spot. J.J. Yaley got his lap back after losing a lap in the opening stages. He got the Hettinger team in the 20th spot, so that's a solid effort as well for him. I mean, again, drivers that it's very, very tricky to finish on the lead lap, especially when you get that last run at the end and you don't have a lot of cautions and you don't have a lot of attrition out there. They very much had to earn these finishes and absolutely did. Andrew Patterson making, I believe, his 2nd series start for the Jordan Anderson team, finishing his 21st spot there, also on the lead lap. Ryan Ellis and Blaine Perkins, the last of those, and Anthony Alfredo, despite the right front damage after a blown tire and spinning, ends up with a 24th place finish. He's the first car 1 lap down. This in the unofficial results. We'll see when the official results get posted here as well. So that's another story to look up there. Yeah, again, decent broadcast, although I don't know why, once again, the CW and FS1 were not there at the track. If it's just a 90-minute drive from Charlotte to Rockingham, Lastbro and I did that drive easily multiple times during our trip there last year. I certainly don't see why it wasn't possible to bring any infrastructure out there for a live broadcast at the track, especially a track like this where, again, it has so much happening and you really only get a portion of what you're seeing on TV there. If they're just basing the broadcast on that by itself, you and I at home here are just not getting the full experience of it. I like that they had Kyle Petty there, especially for his history at the track. It was good to get that revisited as well from all those glory days and the Sabco team in particular, where he just owned the keys to that place for about 3 years. That was cool. I don't mind the little sponsored segments and stuff like that he was doing. Anything with the Petties here, I think makes a race that much better. But yeah, they really needed to have the rest of the crew there as well, because this is a wonderful track. It is a lively community. I will continue to speak for that as well here on this, as I did last year. Lastbro and myself, we felt perfectly at home out there, even as a couple of California guys. Everybody was just wonderful down there. And the weather was gorgeous for Easter weekend. I would love to do that again. It's definitely on our list for one of these days here too. And I highly encourage those of you, if you're ever thinking about covering this race or going out there and attending this race as a fan, do it because you will very much enjoy it. And there's so much that happens out there. So not a sponsored segment, but very much a big Rockingham fan. One thing I was talking with Lastbro about too during this race is honestly, I feel like I appreciate this track more than I did as a kid. Like I remember the older broadcasts, even the early Fox years, that it seemed like this was kind of a race that, again, had long green flag runs, low attrition. But how competitive it is and how much these drivers are fighting around it. It seems so much clearer now with these O'Reilly cars and the Truck Series efforts. So again, I think that really speaks to the quality of the competition that we're seeing at this track here as well. So if it stays as just an Easter weekend thing and does a Friday, Saturday deal, I think that's perfectly A-okay. And hopefully that continues to do that for times coming up there as well. Looking through the field there. Okay, we covered the first part of the field and we got that. We'll go and jump right into the Truck Series segment here. And on the same subject of the broadcast, what on earth is going on with the FS1 group there? I will freely admit, so once Adam Andretti had dropped out of the race, and I was kind of working on the article there, and it was coming down to the closing laps of the race, I kind of just was tuning out the broadcast there. And it was getting down to about like 10 laps to go. And suddenly, Lastbro was kind of doing the play-by-play and saying, Honeycutt's catching the leader. He's coming up. And just listening to the TV broadcast, I would have never known that was happening. I'm glad he said something because I'm watching it, and then it's just like getting closer and closer. And Jamie Little and Phil Parsons and so forth up there are just kind of like, they're just kind of out of it. I'm like, where get on the horn here? It's like, oh, he looks like he's catching him. It's like, no, he is catching him. He's like getting right up to him there too. And you had this wonderful battle in the last 5 laps where Corey Heim has dominated this race, but maybe the tires are going away, tire going down. Any broadcaster worth their salt would love a finish like that. If that just lands in their lap, you got like, he's coming up, he's catching him. Is he going to run out of time? He gained this much this time by. We got none of that. None of that. They were just completely caught unawares. They got down to the last 2 laps, which, by the way, Honeycutt was like just ahead, wasn't he? Yeah, he led at the white flag coming across the stripe there, and it completely made up the interval, and Himes battling back, and they get stuck behind, of all things, their teammates. You got like, Tanner Gray up there? Just an absurd situation on its own. You got so much that's going on. Some controversy with that. Close battle between teammates. Honeycutt trying to get his first win. Corey Heim looking to get his second after a pretty equally dramatic victory at Darlington. You got a ton going on. You can't just be like, wow, yeah, this is something. Like it's insane. I couldn't believe how lackluster the call was. And even after it was over, there was no, way to sum it up. I mean, I would be less critical of it if after the fact they were just kind of remarking it, what had happened up to that point. But even when they showed the replay, they basically stopped it when they got to the white flag and didn't even show them have the battle to the checkered flag, which is what threw me off as well when they showed us. Like, wait, was that the finish? Was it like side by side? And then it turned out, yeah, that was just the white flag there. Just insane. How many more times, as I said on social media, how many more times are we just going to let this slip by? They just keep doing the same thing, keep doing these remote broadcasts, and they're just not engaged in what's happening. And they're not informing us of what's happening in these races. And it's so disappointing because, again, wonderful racing at this track. And we saw a perfect example of it there, where you have somebody on the right strategy and maybe somebody else gets stuck in lap traffic and they can't get up there, or maybe the tires start wearing out. And it doesn't matter if you've led 178 of 200 laps, you may lose this race. And that very easily could have happened. Caden Honeycutt, if he was going to drive any more aggressively, could have been a wreck easily. And then you got third place Lane Riggs licking his chops there. So really, really disappointing. I've thought about playing the clip there from the broadcast. I might still do that. But it's just really frustrating how disengaged they were. And, no wonder when they do these montages, they don't really have a lot of video clips from past races to show, because they don't have any of those moments. They don't have any of that through goes Hamilton kind of moments there from Formula One that would be in this. So that's what really needs to be changed. And I'm sick of hammering this all the time because, yeah, I mean, it's absurd that there's this inflexibility that they just don't seem to want to make any of the changes they clearly need to make, whether it's direction or talent or both. I don't get it. I can't see how I can't understand why they're satisfied with this. I'm sure NASCAR is not happy about it. And again, if they're trying, it just puts forward, it makes it seem like we're not having great racing right now. And they really underestimate this element of it, that they really add to that, to the broadcast there. That really needs to get revisited again. And I hope it does. Because again, you can't keep letting these things slip by. The Darlington finish was great. This finish was great. And it was building. It was clearly building in those last few laps. And it should have been like, they have to get the mission control element. You got to be like right in it and just feel like, okay, anything's happening. It's like, so many things are happening at the same time. It can't just be relaxing and goofing off while traffic goes by. And so many times it feels like that. It really does. It's worse than a reaction video. At least a reaction video guy is like engaged. He's actually just watching the video. I don't even get a sense that they're even watching what's happening when they react like this. They're just kind of shooting the breeze and talking about, well, yeah, you probably do want to change tires at this point. And it's like, meanwhile, it's like 5 laps to go and all this stuff's happening. It's like, whoa, like put a pin in that thought. Do that on like one of those weekly shows later in the week. Let's talk about what the hell is happening out here. Who's doing what? Where are the battles on the track? I mean, that's what needs to be hit. And, I got a couple gripes from a couple people online for me pointing this out. And, it's like, if you don't like hearing it from me, you can listen to somebody else and they're going to just tell you it's just hunky dory, but that's not going to be me. So, and again, I'm not going to be begging you to stay if you don't like listening to it. So that's just the way I feel about it. And again, the beatings will continue until morale improves. So it's just it's going to have to get there. Metaphorical beatings, of course. Yeah, again, we got to get to the point there where, if we could just get that to that point, because the racing is really good. We got some interesting personalities. Today's race, another perfect example. Even the Adam Alexander group didn't fully play up the story with Sawalich as well as they could. Again, the injury last year, the struggles, the turnaround. I thought last year was such a fascinating story. And to have it, picked off with this, Adam Alexander did a decent job of it. Again, I've never been a big fan of him either, but I think that he did a solid job with that here. And you really have to be the one to say it, because Sawalich is such a quiet, mild-mannered guy that he's not going to do it on his own. So hopefully that turns around and we'll find out where it is. But that's going to be kind of the other part of that there too. But Corey Heim still pulls off the win. Caden Honeycutt, just 0.09 of a second behind in the second spot, was right on his rear bumper coming across the line there. Just an exhilarating finish out there. And Honeycutt still counting down the days to his first win, and just tweeted something this afternoon, I think with NASCAR Chasm, saying that he's going to celebrate with the fans there if he does pull off his first win here. And that moment's coming soon. That 11 team is too good to be out of victory lane, even racing against Corey Heim himself. And he may well have to beat Heim on track during one of these part-time efforts there coming up the way that this is going. But Honeycutt very well could have won Darlington a couple weeks ago, could have won this one here too. They're not all going to slip through his grasp there. So let's, we'll watch and see where things shake out from there as well. Lane Riggs in the third spot, Stuart Friesen in fourth, and Grant Enfinger in the top five. This, of course, after the disqualification of Chandler Smith, who ends up being your last place finisher, had rallied from the back of the field, the 33rd starting spot to fourth at the initial scoring there. Unfortunately, the truck was too low in post-race inspection. And wouldn't you know it, I think it's the fifth time in the last 8 disqualifications that resulted in last place finishes for the truck series that one of the Front Row Motorsports trucks has been caught in that sense. And it just shows, I'm sure all these teams are pushing the boundaries as best they can, but whatever reason, it seems like Front Row, when they're pushing it, they seem to just get caught all the time. And this was definitely another one of those situations there. Doubly costly for Smith being the point leader coming in and losing the point lead now as a result of that. And with this current points format, that matters again. Isn't that nice? Now we got ourselves a story here. Can Chandler make up those points that he lost in this race, and how long is it going to take him to do that? So we'll find out what's going to be happening there too. I heard Adam Alexander starting to talk about in this broadcast, like, oh, it's the spring season. It's time to start talking about playoff. Start talking about who's going to make the chase. Nope. Too soon. It's still too early. Things can change completely. I don't care if it's, 16 drivers in Cup or, whatever the number is for the others. Still too early in the season to start talking about it. Let's focus on the races. We're already letting too much stuff slip by. Get your house in order, get that foundation laid, because when the moment comes and we talk about the championship, people, then it will be worth doing it. But we're not there yet, not even in this format. So let's find out. And this race here shows how temperamental this point system is. We get the more points for race winners. Somebody gets disqualified. That matters. And again, we see Smith lose the point lead. Who knows if he's going to get the point lead back? Make that the story. That's what you need to have. Because again, I think we are trending in the direction of getting back to a full season championship. And you're not going to have the chase cut off where you're going to have people catching up to the leader and then doing it all over again for 10 races or whatever the number of races is. That's where we are at the moment. So definitely some drama there. Looked like it was going to be Adam Andretti with his first last place run. Had a pretty hard hit on the backstretch. Glad he was okay. Again, another race with extremely low attrition. Only 2 DNFs between him and Carson Hocevar with his drivetrain failure there that seemed to manifest early on and dropped him out. Very similar to what we saw with Sam Mayer today, come to think of it. But that ends up being the story there too. But Corey Heim, your winner over Honeycutt, Riggs, Friesen, and Enfinger. Tyler Ankrum, Corey LaJoie, now full-time in the number 10 after Daniel Dye resigned from the colleague effort right after being reinstated by NASCAR. LaJoie driving the 10 for the rest of this year and already showing a good run there out of him. In the 7th spot, 25 truck that LaJoie drove before, now has Ty Dillon behind the wheel. Ty Dillon has had some truck rides not quite work out the last couple of years. You think back to the Rackley effort and others there. But hey, try this one around here and see how many more starts he gets. Although it sounds like next week is already going to change because there's somebody else on tap for the next truck series effort. But we'll see where that all turns out there too. Running at the top 10, Ty Majeski, Jake Garcia, and Cole Butcher gets his first career top 10 as the beneficiary after Chandler Smith's disqualification. So a fine effort there out of him, especially after that really rough weekend at St. Petersburg a couple weeks ago with the practice accident. Good to see things turning around for another newcomer in the sport, putting his second Canadian in the top 10 there. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack there, Andre Perez de Lara bounced off the outside wall very early on. Some damage to the right rear of his number 44, dropped him back in the lineup there. He ends up struggling for a good portion of the opening part of the race, ends up losing several more laps. And then you get the issues for Adam Andretti on the back straightaway that ultimately seemed to resolve last place, of course, until inspection there as well. Appreciate very much everybody that was taking some great pictures of the track there as well. I actually have a couple more to add here as well to that article, and I'll see what we have here for the O'Reilly Series race here too. But yeah, definitely an interesting way to play that out at the same time. I did listen to the MRN radio broadcast here at the same time, so that was a lot of fun listening to the commentary for both these races. I guess it was the NRN broadcast yesterday and then the MRN one today. Yeah, they did a fine job. Again, I still have to kind of pause it from time to time because the radio commercials on top of the TV commercials, just too much going on. And I liked the onboard camera with Cletus McFarland because it allowed to kind of track what was happening with his different spins there. So again, there were other ways to kind of get the coverage decent. But again, it's still kind of a work in progress there at the same time. Other drivers throughout the field here. Let's see. We had Connor Hall, I believe, making his series debut in the 20th spot. Or actually, I think he was the one that made the start a couple of years ago. Let me got to look at my own article here to kind of clear that up. But there were definitely a number of different young stars competing in this race, which is good to see. Second series start for Connor Hall. He was driving for the McAnally team a couple of years ago, but finishing this time around in the 20th spot there. Parker Eadman making his series debut in the former late model star there as well. Had a gorgeous truck, that 42 truck there with the reflective gold accents, looked good. Don't know what happened to him at the end. He seemed like he was in and around the top 10 and then ended up dropping back to the 26th spot there at the finish. I don't know if he had a flat tire or got into the wall. He ends up 3 laps down, so that kind of sounds like an unscheduled stop. But again, not entirely sure what happened there. Michael Christopher Jr., of course, making his second start. Similar struggles there as well. He actually saw what happened with him with the spin there on the back straightaway, dropping him to the 23rd spot there. So, again, a little bit of everything there. Very low attrition, great battle to finish, and just love the green flag racing with these guys. You just kind of throw it in there. But in both these races, again, I think we still only got a glimpse of just a fraction of it. And going back to what I said in the previous one, I encourage you to check out this track if you get the chance and see the action out there because they do put on a good show. And also the merch tents outside the track are quite good too. It was almost overwhelming last year when we went out there at the same time. So yeah, different deal there at the same time. Yeah, thank you for letting me know about the engine failure there for Sam Mayer. Yep, that was definitely the case there at the same time. So, looking through the rest of the field here, no, not seeing any other large stories. It's good to see Caleb Costner out there with his own organization. Climbed out of last place there and ended up in the 33rd spot there at the finish. Still finished the race under power, the last driver to do so. But again, solid weekend. It does feel like we almost got like even less than 2/3 of a weekend without the Cup Series here, but of course with the holiday, that certainly makes sense. I like the traditional viewpoint of the NASCAR schedule where usually they had Easter and Mother's Day off. Unfortunately, Mother's Day still has a race this year. I think that's Watkins Glen this year, if I remember correctly. But at least that's a shorter race, so maybe that offsets it there a little bit. But certainly hope you're having a wonderful Easter weekend. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me here on this at the same time. So very much appreciated. We will get into the trivia portion here in just a bit. I'll check some of my other notes for other news stories throughout this week. Let's see. Nope, not that one. I will say it's also been a pretty productive week on the writing side. Been able to get some more work done on a couple of scripts. What's made these take a bit longer is I have one that's a members-only video that's going to replace the Kenny Irwin one, which will then go public. And I also have a 2-part video. Basically, each of these have been driver profiles of 2 different drivers that are pretty linked. So it's basically been working on 4 videos instead of 2. But the benefit of this is that once they're done, I think, that'll be multiple videos and we'll get those there too. And in between that, I have the Slender U Figure Salons video. That's a sponsor standalone video. I had a skit that I recorded for that. That's already posted in the Patreon. And then the video itself is coming together. It's already been recorded.
That's just something I've had to kick down the road while I get these other ones put together. But that's also in the works, and it'll probably be the next release here since it's the closest to getting done. So I'd certainly think probably this month. I'd be surprised if it took longer than that. But that's kind of the timetable we're looking at here at the moment. So we'll get that figured out. This weekend, I got to actually get my taxes done here, and I'm sure a lot of people are in the same situation here too. So that's kind of what we're having this at the same time. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. I figured it was going to be kind of a smaller show here this week. We got 28 viewers. I appreciate you tuning in. And we will be doing more of the trivia CD-ROM game here in a little bit, and we'll do that. There was a little bit of news here this week. This one I didn't really get into. It kind of broke late with the last couple of races, with Kevin Harvick being added to the list of the next NASCAR Hall of Fame nominees. I think you could pretty much lock in that it's going to be Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle for those first two current modern era nominees. And then I'd say take your pick as to, who's the Pioneer winner. I'm kind of partial to Harry Hyde in that one. I've heard pretty compelling arguments for others in that same list there too. So again, I think it really at this point there's, take your pick. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty safe to say it's going to be another year for Neil Bonnet. I'm glad Bonnet's still on the list. We saw Bob Welborn drop off the list here this year, which was surprising. I think it was Jeff Gluck that pointed out that Welborn actually trended pretty high in terms of votes last year, and ended up not on the list this time around. But we'll see what happens from there. But Neil will get his turn. It'll probably be next year. That would be nice. But we'll find out there too. This is always the challenge. You're going to have new people that are in there. But I would have a very hard time believing that it's not going to be Harvick and Biffle on this one, given the circumstances. And really, honestly, even if Biffle, even if the tragedy, that occurred this last winter didn't happen, I think Greg would be a very strong candidate there for his excellence in all three of the series at the same time. And it's just awful that he can't celebrate it with us. But hopefully the next reconciliation will be when he's brought in there as well. So we'll find out that there soon. And yeah, then we just go on to what the next class is after that. And that'll be a story in itself, I'm sure, that we'll be covering here at the same time. I'm sure none of them are watching this, or if they even get Wi-Fi on that thing out there, but isn't it exciting to know that we have astronauts out there that are circumnavigating the moon at the moment? I know this isn't a space show or anything like that, but obviously just as excited as everyone about what's happening out there. Yeah, wish them all the best of luck on their journey. Still amazed by the pictures that have come down from their system there in the meantime there. It's just tremendous. I'm glad to especially a lot of young people very excited about space again. I remember as a kid, how much the space shuttle and stuff like that was just, really, popular, for just kids in general. I mean, the marketing, I think, with NASA back then was really good. It used to be that was always something you see, like, the intro to Bill Nye or something like that. And, space travel or space camp. I mean, my God, all that stuff, I guess the kids these days would probably call it Space Corps. It was just everywhere. And that's great. I remember everyone always wanted to try astronaut ice cream and stuff like that. Gosh, the more I think about it, yeah, it was really pretty much a big part of, and this is like, again, 90s in the early 2000s kind of era there. I know the program since went away, and that's where they had to kind of, start over and try this new program out there with the Artemis. Yeah, I just love seeing that out there too. And, I've kind of just enjoyed the flavor of this week in general too. On social media, of course, all the discussions with people in Japan that are interested about American culture, and then vice versa there as well. That makes me think so much back to the NASCAR races in Japan. Actually, one of the videos I'm working on is actually kind of touching on that subject there as well, and the cultural exchange there between the two countries. So I've just kind of been really enjoying a lot of that there this week at the same time. So we'll have some more news on that, I'm sure, down the line. Not so much here on this show there as well. And I'm sure none of our astronauts, I don't know if any of them are NASCAR fans, or much less were checking out this show there. But if they are, Godspeed out there, and enjoying what you guys are bringing back here as well. Again, I think the interest in science and the interest in space travel is fascinating, and I love seeing the next generation getting into that there as well, because it is cool. It is cool. It's always been cool, and it's about time we start doing that again. Long overdue. So yeah, again, wanted to bring that up here at the same time. We're going to get into our trivia portion here next, so stay tuned. I'm going to step away here for just a moment to get some water, and then we're going to load up the program here, and we'll try it out without the timer, and hopefully that'll be a little bit more interactive than what we had last week. So again, kind of a work in progress here these last couple of weeks, but that'll be something here. And again, if you have any other questions or anything I missed from this week that you want to talk about, drop it in the chat, and we'll go into that there too, and we'll go from there. Oh yes, and the NASCAR Man history video on the story of the mercury injury that Cale Yarborough's team had in 1993. I know that was just posted this weekend. Definitely check that out as well. I very much enjoyed doing the script on that. Yeah, it's an interesting story, and if you're looking for content this weekend to watch, I'd highly encourage that there at the same time. So I'm gonna step away, and I will be back in just a moment here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the emulator up. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment. Let me make sure the audio's working. And we will do some trivia. So, all right. So stay tuned, folks. We'll get this fired up here in just a moment. And I do want to, I was playing around with this after last week's show, and I did see that there, the settings option, it had a way to deactivate the timer. So luckily I don't have to pause the emulator to do that. So I think that's where the direction we're going to go with this. We'll go ahead and play the lead in. Hopefully the sound is good enough. We can turn that up. But yeah, as to the space travel aspect there, I know Rick Houston is literally over the moon for he's been very, very much an advocate of
space travel and the history of the space program there as well. So that's been fun to see.
Choose your game mode.
Yeah, no skippings this time, Rooney. I'm not exactly sure what caused it. I did not change anything on this, so we'll see. It might still skip around there. But yes, wishing you all a wonderful Easter weekend. I hope it's as nice where you are as it is over here. It's very nice out today. We'll be just doing a little bit of trivia here, and then we will wrap up our show here today. Let's see.
In Shootout, there's no board, just categories and questions.
Yeah, it's really not doing the skip. Okay. We could do the, we'll probably do the classic, because I like doing that, picking that thing where you can pick your avatar here. Uh-oh.
Just like the board game.
Oh, there's your skip.
How many drivers today? Choose your driver.
All right, now which driver should we have today? It's a little different with the 18 there with Sawalich winning. I guess we could find Bobby Labonte on here. But let me know in the chat which one you'd like. I'll kind of scroll through here, and we'll see that. Oh, you got Peeps plushies? Right on, Marcus. Excellent. Easter is an underrated candy holiday for sure. You know, you think about Christmas, you think about Halloween, you think about those other ones, but Easter is a lovely one for that. Well, let's see. I'll show you which drivers we have here. Let's see. So yeah, we do have Bobby Labonte for the 18. We got LePage. We got Waltrip. Go ahead and let me know in the chat which driver we should pick for our avatar, and we get kind of a consensus. We'll do that. I like the graphics they have on this. I picked an option where it had like 6 different cars, and we could pick like a few of them there. But yeah, if there's one on here you like, let me know in the chat, and we'll pick them. And yeah, then we'll do some trivia questions. I need to deactivate the timer after we do this, and then I think we should be good there. Actually, that key, I think, in the corner will do that. Let me do that first. Audio, where is... Load game. So I'm looking for that. Looking for... Oh, I guess it's in the game itself. I got to take the timer out. Okay, that's fine. We'll return here. What else we got? Got an image check here. Okay, we got a couple more pages here. We got Adam Petty. We got Dale Jarrett. Chad Little. And then you got some bonus ones down here. We got Richard Petty and Junior. You got a request for Kenny Irwin. We'll see. A good half-price Easter Candy Monday. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Irvin for Unbreakable. Several options. I was glad we were able to find some Kit Kats after the Kit Kat theft last week. So you got that too. Cletus was top 4 in the ARCA East race. Well, good for him there. I did not watch that race there, but good for him to have a good finish there, and undoubtedly that also helped. Again, you know, the more laps he gets, the more experience he gets. That's going to be good. It's just going to take some time there too. But I think he's on the right track. If this may not have been the most, you know, a moment he's going to remember as fondly. But again, you gotta take your lumps. It's no different if you're a big name guy that's been working his way up there or otherwise. So yeah. I'll scroll back through the list here, back to the top. You can kind of see what we got here. So we got Schrader, we got Marlin, we got Gordon. It's exactly me and karting. Yeah, you and me both, no tires. Exactly, same deal. See, Control N to free the mouse. It's gonna show here as well. At the same time, we do have Badger here as well on the show. Oh, hang on. There you go. He's how conked out is he? There he is. There you are, buddy. Oh. There he is. Hopefully I didn't wake him up too much. There you go. So if you might have seen him on the show a little bit earlier. He was kind of getting up and moving around a bit more there. But yeah, he's found his favorite spot. So that's where he is right there. Alrighty. Okay, so let's go back into the game here. Let's see.
see picks for Irwin and Irvin. I'm just gonna make a call here. We'll do Kenny Irwin, and we'll just jump into it there. So we'll bring out the 28.
Number 28, Kenny Irwin.
All
If
right.
This is the driver you want. Click. Oh.
All right. So we'll go right into it. We'll do some questions there as well.
Today's game is played just like the board game. You'll move around the board answering questions.
Okay.
You're heading for the wedge tile.
Okay, hang on though. I think this is where I can change. We can change the gameplay. Yeah, here we go. Where was it? Rolling the die, moving a token. Oh, advanced gameplay. Maybe that was it. Timer length. There we go. Here we go. See, give me unlimited time. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay. So this should make it a little better than before.
Closer to the finish line. And when you've got all your wedges, head for the center tile. You'll have one final question to answer. And if you get that one right, we'll have a new race champion. Good luck.
Oh, shoot. Hang on. Let me switch back to the other screen.
Click
Hold up.
F1 for more information on the game categories.
Get the mouse back up there. There we go. All right, now we're back. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get going.
Select a category by moving to one of the highlighted tiles.
I can also retract, so we'll do that. All right, here we go, folks.
What year in the 1970s did Pocono Raceway install its 2.5-mile trioval? 1975, 1971, 1973, 1977.
Ooh, okay, this is gonna be tricky. Okay, now we don't have a timer, so okay, we can take our time on this now. This time, so here are the options. We got the 70s. Don't look it up. The rules still apply here. We're gonna try to guess. We got to guess for 76. Well, I don't think we have that as an option. We got 75, 71, 73, and 77. I mean, it seemed like it had a lot of races in the 70s, so I'm wanting to guess like an early 70s, like 71, 73. I think by 75, 77, it had already been there for a while. Yeah, see, again, I'm seeing that in the chat here too. So I'm going 71, some going 73. We'll give you guys a little bit more time here. I'm glad it's literally limited time. Okay. All right, let's go with 71. I'm going to say that.
1971.
Okay, there we go.
You can keep going.
I can keep going, Eli, and I will.
You can move to any highlighted tile.
Tracks again. What's this one? Teams. Let's do that. All right. I think it's got a rookie stripe on it, too. It's 99 schemes, though, but kind of looked like the 28 did.
Who was crew chief for the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup champion?
Oh, that's got to be Ray Evernham.
Ray Evernham,
There we go.
Gary Dehart, Kirk Shelberdine.
Well, these are some traps for the unwary here for sure. Yeah, they're going to have to be Ray Evernham on that.
Ray Evernham.
So you got the pictures.
Roll again.
Yeah, I think we did do a video on it there, Rooney. It might have been one of NASCAR Man Histories. We did the USAC races at Pocono.
You can move to any highlighted tile.
Let's see. Maybe this. Oh, let's roll again. Yeah, let's see. All right, back in the tracks category.
What year in the 1980s featured the final race at Riverside?
Ooh, know this one. Do you know this one?
1986, 1984, 1982.
Love these pictures they're using. I hope there's more. Yeah, it keeps up this variety here of graphics here as well. We're looking at the last year in the 80s, or the 80s, the last race at Riverside. I guess it's for 83 and 88. All right. We will see here. 86, yep. Let's see. All right. I'm going to go with 1988.
1988.
There we go. You got it. Too good.
take another turn.
Rusty Wallace wins. Ricky Rudd wins the pole. And now there is just literally nothing there. See, it does look like a rookie stripe on here. By the way, I mean, I'm sure it's just a Ford logo or something on here. By the way, kudos to Mitchell Stapleton, who somehow, I have no clue how, found the rear bumper off Robbie Gordon's car from 1993 with a rookie stripe on it when Robbie drove for Davey Allison in the 93 Die Hard 500 a week after his accident. Or I guess two weeks after. Just extraordinary. I have no idea where the hell he found that. That is oozing with history. Not only is it a last place finisher of the race, and Robbie's, first start in Cup in a while there too, but just extraordinary. And to see also that in the old footage, you can't see very clearly how the tape was added. I mean, I always think with some rookie stripes, they literally just take a yellow decal and put it on there. But to see it just yellow strips of tape, and they cut it around the Ford logo there on the back, and seeing all the handwork on that, extraordinary thing. Love the pictures that he shared there as well. I have no idea how he scored that, and I can't imagine how much it cost, but that was a tremendous find. Tremendous. So, yeah, it reminds me of this immediately. It's about this big on the back of the car, just right around the Ford logo on the back. So there you go. Did we roll yet? I don't think we rolled yet.
Select a category by moving to one of the high.
Let's do drivers. No tires. That puts in perspective.
Who was the 1962
How young
NASCAR
Sawallich
Winston
is.
Cup Rookie of the Year?
Ooh, Rookie of the Year question.
Tom Cox, Lenny Pond, Dick Brooks.
All right, well, nobody look it up. Try to guess it on here. 62 Cup Rookie of the Year. Going that far back in the day. Even before the Winston Cup Series. Sawallich wasn't even born when the Xbox 360 came out. Not even Talladega Nights either. Yeah, well, there you go. Believe me, if you feel old, I feel even older. So there you go. 62 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year. Our next question, we got guesses for Tom Cox, for Pond, for Larry Smith, for Tom Cox. Okay, we'll see. Racing with Hunter, he got it from you. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. Well, again, if that's the case, that's a great find on your end too, and it sounds like it's going to a good home, so that's good to hear too. Tremendous. Who is Tom Cox? Good question. That would not have been my guess. Well, let's see. Everybody's going with Tom Cox. Let's go with that.
Tom Cox.
There you go. 1962.
You can keep going.
I can keep going. Let's see. Let's find out who Tom Cox is. We can pull that up too. There's no reason we can't. Tom, do we have a photo? Maybe NAS Racers Reunion or something has it. Thomas Cox. Thomas Clarkston Cox. Passed in 2017. Shows up on Rookie of the Year. That looks like Cale Yarborough. I think that's not. That's Buddy Baker. And that looks like, oh gosh. Not Rick Baldwin, but, yeah, hard to say. Let's take a picture immediately offhand here. I'm showing a lot of other drivers. Darrell Waltrip. There's a Mark Martin picture on this page. Oh, maybe here. Hang on. Might have one here, folks. Yep, Racers Union comes in clutch again. Here we go. Let's see. Pull it up on this shot here. There you go. Tom Cox. And some older pictures from earlier in his career. Racers Reunion's always really good for this here. Pictures that were posted. Dave Fulton, big thanks to him for posting these on here. Dennis Andrews as well. So shots there. So there you go. Tom Cox, 62 Cup Rookie of the Year on there. All right, let's go back into the game. We'll roll again.
You can move to any highlighted tile.
All right. Do I want that one? Do I want get the wedge? Let's get the wedge. Let's do that.
Questions for or away.
Quick questions. Okay.
Watch the only lap where a car cannot be pushed onto the track by another car.
Ah.
A caution lap. A restart lap.
I love the background noises. That's great.
Lap.
Alrighty, here we go. What is the only lap a car cannot be pushed onto the track by another car? Had a Cletus fair at the Rock today there, Uncle Daddy. Yep, a little difficult. Not last place, at least not officially, as the results of inspection are still coming down to play here, but we'll pull the results up. I believe it was, what, 33rd? 32nd, 6 laps down. He spun out 4 times, did not collect another driver, but yeah, that is the case. We got guesses for white flag, last lap. Last lap. All right, here we go. Let's go there. White flag lap. Boop.
The white flag lap.
The white flag.
Got a wedge.
Got a wedge. All right, let's see if we get some more wedges here.
Roll again.
All right, let's do that.
Move to any highlighted tile.
Let's see. So it's only the roll again squares I'm seeing here. There's a roll again.
Move to any highlighted tile.
Here we go. We got a purple one. Okay, NASCAR. We'll go there. Alrighty.
What 2 members of a team are required to attend NASCAR?
Ooh, this is a good question.
Driver and crew chief, owner and driver, gas man and overflow man, owner and crew chief.
All right, here we go. Which 2 members of a team are required to attend NASCAR's pre-race meeting? All right, we got a couple options here. Got the driver and crew chief, owner and driver, gas man and overflow man, owner and crew chief. What say you, folks? This feels so much like NASCAR 99 for the N64. Keep digging. Up, there you go. No, I'm glad. Well, we've been using the other device for a very long time. We've probably got to the point where we've repeated questions on here. And I do have a couple other options. I have some trivia cards that I picked up over the years, so I have those on standby. And yeah, this one here was fun too to find. So I'm glad to finally get it to work and get that there at the same time. Read last when you can, Rock, there on the Racing with Hunter. Oh, I see your last post. Let me see that there. Sorry. Get that on there. I've had that piece of the car forever, so I figured I'd give it to Mitchell. I'm getting some age on me and have no idea what to do. Oh, my goodness. Well, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for taking such good care of it there, Racing with Hunter. I appreciate you keeping that in such good shape there. And, yeah, again, I think that Mitchell will be a great place there to keep that going there, too. So I do appreciate you sharing the wealth there on that. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful piece there. So... again, it's exciting to see, as I'm sure you're excited as well, to see other people passionate about racing history, to recognize the importance of that piece there too. So yeah, again, extraordinary collection there as well. All right, most of you guys saying driver and crew chief, so we will go with driver and crew chief. And there you go.
Take another turn.
Yeah, what are the odds you'd be in here too? Thank you for tuning into the show here today. Appreciate getting that side of the story on that. I mean, did you get it? Were you the first person to pick it up, or did you get it from somewhere else or something, or somebody else's collection? Either way, it's in remarkable shape, and you can recognize it immediately from the old footage, which is extraordinary. We get the 6. We'll go here.
Was the original banking at Bristol 18 degrees, 36 degrees.
The original banking. Now, this could mean different things. This is a game for the late 90s. So are we talking original like back in the 60s? Or are we talking original like before? I mean, this game, of course, couldn't even conceive of the 2007 reconfiguration. So I know we're not talking about that. So that narrows things down a little bit. So we must be talking about way back in the day, like the very start of it. And indeed, we got Bristol next week. So probably a well-timed question here as well. So what is your guess? We have 18, 36, 22, and 27. The original banking at Bristol. You're the first one to pick it up. Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Hunter, there for taking such good care of it, and again, finding a good place for it too. That's tremendous. It's important history, and it's good to have it still out there for sure. Hey there, AG, MRC fan. Thank you for tuning in as well. We're just down to the last part here of the show. We're going to do a couple trivia questions and then wrap things up here for the Easter weekend. We'll just do a couple more questions. That'll probably be it. So I've seen guesses for 18 and 22 and 27. I'm going to go with 18 on that. Let's see. Oh, it's 22. 22 is the answer. So on to the next one. We'll roll again here. You got Kenny Irwin's car on this one. How about we go to drivers? I don't think we've done one of those yet today.
Who was Darrell Waltrip's main sponsor for the beginning of the 1999?
His main sponsor for Darrell Waltrip in 99. Which is it?
Parts America.
And wouldn't you know it, all the options or sponsors that Darrell Waltrip had in his career. Well, this would really throw people off for sure. But there you go. Good options here with this. But which one was the sponsor in 1999? That is the question. Speed Block's not on there. That's a very good guess. I like that one too. That's right in the era, but not quite. We got several for Kmart and Route 66. And where are we here? Oh, we're going to go with Kmart. It looks like that's going to be the answer. Indeed it is. The 66, the Carter effort. The Haas Carter effort.
Select a category by moving to one of the highlighted tiles.
Let's get the pits triangle. How about let's get that little piece there. Back when DW's abusing the Champions Provisional. Well, there you go. Hey, it's there to be used.
For fueling a car without an overflow man in place.
Ooh, now there's old technology. The overflow man.
15 seconds. 2 laps.
Now this one's not quite as straightforward. Pit penalty for fueling a car without the overflow man. The guy standing behind the car at the overflow valve. 1 lap, stop and go. 15 seconds, 2 laps. What say you, folks? Badger is waking up down here too. How you doing? How you doing? You want to say hi? Here, we'll switch. While you guys are guessing this here, the penalty for fueling a car without the overflow man in place. Oh, we got him here. Oh, there we go. He doesn't look as zonked out from this view, but actually on camera there he is. There you go, buddy. This is his favorite blanket. He just he'll just zonk out in there. I'm surprised he doesn't have his paws up here like he did yesterday. All right, bring this back up here. Let's see. We will second screen. There we are. Alrighty, let's get our pointer back. There it is. All right, guesses for 1 lap, stop and go. A lot of you got stop and go. Okay, let's go with stop and go. Here we are.
15
seconds. 15-second penalty. I don't think anybody got that one. Yeah, if you're talking fire safety, that's true. There you go, Badger. Seat down. There you are, buddy.
Move to any highlighted tile.
All right, let's see.
You can choose any of the 6 categories.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I haven't tried this yet. Which one can I do? Ooh, we haven't done wild card. Let's do that. Yeah, here we go. Oh, but racking up points. Oh, no tires. You did get it. There you go. You did get it. Stop and go. Right on.
Driver has a pet raccoon named Sitco.
Or no, you got 15 seconds earlier. There we are.
Bobby Hillen, Morgan Shepherd, Ward Burton.
Pet raccoon named Sitco. And we have, I think, 2 drivers that drove the Sitco car as the options.
Yeah, no tires. You did get it. Yeah, you are racking up points. There you go. 15 seconds. Kudos to you. Absolutely. Watch the early 90s try to figure out pitting at Bristol. Yeah, it used to be. So, yeah, which driver has a pet raccoon named Sitko? So, keep in mind, late 90s is when this game came out. So, we're talking like, I mean, he's got 99 paint schemes in here. So, we're definitely talking a different era here. We got Michael Waltrip, Bobby Hillen, Morgan Shepherd, and Ward Burton. And we saw, again, Ward Burton getting featured in the broadcast today as one of the other drivers that won their first Busch Series race at Rockingham. Indeed, also won his first Cup race driving for Bill Davis. Got to be Morgan Shepherd. I'm with you there. Let's do that. Got to be Morgan Shepherd. There it is.
Roll again.
Alrighty. And we're just going to do one more question here for today. A little bit of a shorter show today, but we're definitely going to do some more of this trivia next week. And I think without this timer, this is making it much easier to work with. So we'll do that. We have tech complete, no issues. Okay, let's step away for just a moment. Then we'll do a last question, and we'll do that. How about we do that? So we'll go to the stream. We'll let the music keep playing in the background. And we'll go to Bob's page on there. There it is. Yes, indeed. 1 minute ago, Bob Parker is tweeting it here. Tech is complete in the O'Reilly garage. No issues. Sawalich is the winner. 3 cars going to R&D. Those are Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, and Sheldon Creed. Those cars going to the R&D section there. So Toyota and 2 Chevrolets. Sawalich is the winner. So again, congratulations to William Sawalich on the victory. That means that Sam Mayer is your last place finisher today, his first of the season. Alrighty, so let's switch right back here. We'll do one more question for today, and let's see which category is going to be.
Select a category by moving to one of the highlighted tiles.
Okay, cool. We can get in our wedge here on the way out. Let's see, drivers. We'll just do NASCAR.
Right answer here will put you closer to the finish.
To the finish. Okay, here we go. Hands on the buzzers, folks.
What's the largest number of races any driver won in a single Winston Cup season in the 1980s?
Ooh, we're looking for a number.
13, 12, 14.
Ooh, okay, good. This is a good one to wrap up on. This is a challenging one. All right. So what is the largest number of races any driver won in a single Winston Cup season in the 1980s? Hey there, Talking Crown Vic. Thank you for tuning in. Last question for the evening here, folks, in the NASCAR category. The largest number of races any driver won in a single Winston Cup season in the 1980s. 15, 13, 12, or 14. So a very big season for somebody in the 80s there, and that would be the number. Surprised I didn't teach the raccoon how to roller skate. I like that. All right. Again, largest number of races any driver won in a single Winston Cup season in the 80s. 15, 13, excuse me, 12, and 14. 12 by DW twice. Okay, seeing guesses good there. Let's see, 13. I see Elliott winning 12. We'll see. We're almost there. And what's the Yankees win against the Marlins? Okay, we got that too. Yeah, we'll be wrapped up here before top of the hour. We're going to just do this and then put a pin in it here. I think that will do it for the afternoon. Alrighty, so what's kind of the consensus here? I'm seeing a lot for 12. Seeing a lot for 12. This is better. I can tease this a bit more. I thought it was going to be too easy with having it multiple choice, but actually ones like this makes it a little trickier. Charles Peterson's got 12 by DW twice. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think 12 too. We're going to go with that. Let's go. Whoop, make sure I click on the right one. All right, here we go. Let's go 12. There you go. Got the blue wedge.
Take another turn.
All righty. Well, I think that will do it here, folks. So let me get, let me grab the key, the ignition here. Whoop, there we go. Alrighty, so we'll just get clipped out of this. So that will about do it for today here on the show. So congratulations to William Sawalich for winning his first career O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race today at Rockingham. Congratulations also to Corey Heim for his win yesterday in the Truck Series race. Articles on both last place finishers coming to lastcar.info. The one from yesterday is already posted, and the one on Sam Mayer will be up later this evening. So again, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. My Twitter feed at LastCarOnBrock. My website is lastcar.info, and of course there's more videos on this channel. Also be sure to check out NASCAR Man History's video on the Bojangles car with the Mercury bodywork on it on his channel, again at NASCAR Man History. Hope you enjoyed the trivia section as much as I did. And again, have a wonderful Easter weekend, and I will see you again next Sunday after the Cup Series race at Bristol. We will be back to a full weekend of racing there as well, and we will talk about the action from there for the Cup Series. It's all three series next weekend, isn't it? Isn't it Trucks, O'Reilly, and Cup? Either way, we'll be talking about the action here on this show. But again, have a wonderful holiday weekend, and I'll see you all next time.